My name's Collin Hart, and I'm a healthcare real estate advisor.
And I'm Eric Yetter, an investment banker focused on helping doctors sell their practices and surgery centers to private equity.
Eric and I have worked together on a number of transactions and take a complementary approach to taking care of our clients.
It's a great time for doctors to look into these deals. It's been a very competitive market, both for practices and real estate. And working together, we can really maximize transaction value for both assets. Collin and I get asked a lot, what's the right order to sell real estate versus practice? Do you sell them together? Do you sell them separately? And we've talked a lot about it too, obviously, because we're both in this business. And I think the conclusion that I've come to, and you've come to too, is that physicians have a lot of flexibility and we can accommodate a lot of different situations. But what's important is that sellers be thoughtful about what they want to do and plan ahead for both transactions. So if you want to sell your real estate first, that's fine, but be thoughtful about it. Think about how that plays into the value of your practice, your ASC down the road. If you want to sell your ASC or practice first, that's fine too, but be thoughtful about getting a lease in place so that you have a very saleable, maximized value real estate entity. And we'll talk a little bit more about the different ways that you can do that. But again, the important thing is to be thoughtful, to plan ahead, and to work with the right advisor from the beginning who can coordinate how this all works and plan ahead to get you the ideal outcome.
So as Eric mentioned, we can certainly work to transact your real estate prior to a private equity transaction. But what we find is the reason a lot of our clients bought or built their building is as a way to control the destiny of their practice. And if they're going to continue to be the owner of the practice, a lot of times they don't want to sell the real estate. Now, there are certainly reasons to do that, but we find that when there's a pending private equity transaction, it tends to be a great motivator or reason for folks to consider transacting their real estate. And the reason is because if you're selling your practice and the whole reason you bought or built your building was to control the destiny of your practice, well, if you no longer have control of that tenant, you're completely changing the risk profile of your practice real estate investment. And so when we talk about what's the best order to sell, there is no best order. It really takes a tailored approach or a thoughtful approach, as Eric mentioned. But at the end of the day, if you're going to go through a practice sale, it's imperative to make sure that you get those lease terms correct, because once they're signed with your new private equity partner, it's very difficult to change them post-transaction. And as we talked about earlier, the lease terms are really what make that rental income durable and therefore attractive, which allows us to transact your real estate for a strong multiple.
And you know, another reason that I think it's important to plan ahead is that timing is important. So for doctors who decide to sell their practice first, we have to work again to get the right lease terms in place. But after we do that, after the practice deal closes, it's really important to go ahead and start that real estate sale process right away. And the reason is that your real estate has the highest value when you still have the maximum lease term left. That gives security and confidence to investors.
And to further Eric's point, if you transact your practice and you have a fresh long-term lease, call it a 15-year lease, you have a little bit more flexibility in terms of timing of starting a real estate sale, right? A property is most valuable when it has 10 years of lease term or more. So if you have a 15-year lease, you have some time, that's great, you're not under the gun. But if you only get a 10-year lease or a 12-year lease, you have a little bit more flexibility, and every day or every month that ticks down, your property becomes a little bit less desirable to prospective investors because that income is less secure. It's still durable if it's set up with a triple net lease, but it's less secure because there's less remaining term or guaranteed rental income.
Yeah, so we always tell clients, plan ahead and do them both quickly.